Welcome back to Eddie's Launchpads, the Dogsthorpe Infant School podcast for parents, carers, teachers and schools. Dogsthorpe Infant School is part of Hampton Academies Trust. We want every child to dream, believe and shine.
OK, Eddie, start the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
This podcast is brought to you by Eddie Edster, the Dogsthorpe Infant School Wellbeing Dog.
Yes, welcome back to Eddie's Launchpads. It's the Dogsthorpe Infant School podcast for parents, teachers and schools. Thank you for joining us today. Wherever you're listening around the world, welcome. Thank you for choosing us. We greatly appreciate every listener that we get, and thank you for choosing us. Now, as always, we have great guests on the Launchpad. Sometimes they're authors, sometimes they're teachers, maybe they're people who are involved in education. Sometimes it's about getting people into school who teach our children something, perhaps through Shine Time assemblies or whatever, like Science with Atomic Tom. Two guests for you today, two people from the council who've come to talk to us about a very, very important subject. So we welcome to the Launchpad, Cristina and Julia. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Oh, that's very formal. Good afternoon. It's lovely that you can join us on the Launchpad today, and we are so grateful for you taking time out. Now, you're going to be coming into our school, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later on. But could you just introduce yourselves and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and about the things that you do?
So my name is Cristina, and I am the coordinator for recycling education at the council. So what does that mean? We do all sorts of things. We are visiting schools, we are organizing community events, and we have the company of two fantastic mascots called Rita and Harry. Rita deals with the recycling green bin, and Harry deals with the food waste. So that's me briefly, and now I'll pass it on to Julia.
Hello, I'm Julia. I'm a recycling education assistant, and myself and my colleagues support Cristina in her work to educate the residents of Peterborough how to recycle and deal with their waste properly. We talk with a wide range of people, all the way from nursery children to retired people, about problems with their bins, problems using their bins, going into schools, talking about recycling, upcycling, what they can do to make a difference in the world. So anything and everything to do with recycling and waste.
Yeah, basically we just cover the whole lot, don't we, Julia? And,
Yes.
and the idea is to engage people in many different ways, because at the moment Peterborough has only 42% recycling rate compared
Wow.
to countries like Germany who are over 70, etc. So it's not that we're doing things wrong. We just have to work a bit more on what works with our citizens here and people who are living here at Peterborough.
Absolutely. And perhaps we could talk about some of those things, because some of our listeners may not realise what goes into the green bin. They might just think it's paper or whatever. And there's all sorts of ways that we can separate the stuff that we put into our bin, so that we can help not only the environment, but just help to get rid of the rubbish that we all cause, that we all make. Yeah. And I guess that programs like David Attenborough, when he's picked up the amount of plastic and what it can do to wildlife and what it can do to the sea, we've got it on the front of our minds, but we've not necessarily got it on our minds when that baked bean tin has been used up. And you look at the baked bean tin and you think, I'm just going to sling it in the ordinary bin because I can't be bothered to wash it up. When really all it needs is a rinse out and to put into the green bin.
Right. That's right.
How do we get people to do more?
I mean, it is a tricky situation, and we're working from different points. We do door-to-door knocking. We just have conversations with people. They do not see the impact that daily habits, daily behaviors can have in the whole world. You know, it is us who are doing the harm without realizing many times. So For example, a can of baked beans, it's one of the most valuable resources, aluminium, and it's quite difficult to source. It's very carbon intensive. And actually, in terms of making money for the council, for residents, you can raise up to £1,000 per 1 ton compared to what costs with cardboard. So you can see it's like a treasure. I normally call that like a treasure when we go to schools that we need to look after, because it costs so much resources from the earth to extract and elaborate. And also, it's kind of, we're losing that income for the council. The income for the council will go to schools, like Dogsthorpe will go to roads, the NHS. But sometimes it's difficult to see how the small little steps can, change a lot of things if we all get together on it.
There's a whole list of things that can go into that green bin. And there are times when Mrs. Waters says to me, does this go in the black bin or the green bin? And I'm saying to her, do you know, I'm not sure. I mean, I know the things about you take off the caps. If you have a water bottle, you take the caps off, don't you? And you put the water bottle in, but you leave the caps out. I thought that's what it was. You may tell me different. Is that true?
I have to say, Julia's going to say on that.
Hold on, Dave. Yes, all the caps and metal lids can be left on.
Really?
Plastic bottles or glass bottles as well. So rinse them out, pop them in with the lid on in the recycling bin.
I didn't know that. You see, I didn't know that. I always thought you take the caps off, but you put the bottle in. So you can even recycle the lids of lemonade bottles.
Yeah. Plastic bottles lids. Pop them back on. Once the bottle's empty, pop it back on, all rinsed and nice and clean. Squash it if you can, if you've got a lot in your recycling, and we'll take it away and recycle it.
Right.
I mean, the only exception would be, so obviously, lids always, like Julia said, would be always on. Yeah. But the only exception is hand soap dispensers. When you have that pump.
Oh, the pump.
That's the only thing you really have to remove. That's why now a lot of companies are making those refillable bags, to reduce plastic. And so now you can refill your hand soap pump. So that would be the only one that you have to remove, really.
And is it all plastics? I mean, for example, if you buy I'm thinking of the plastic that is really, really thin, the sort of stuff that you get wrapped around some tomatoes, a packet of tomatoes. It's really thin plastic. Does that go in?
Yes, it is. The thin plastic can go in, although I bought some tomatoes yesterday and didn't put them in a bag at all. I don't put my fruit and vegetables in bags in the supermarket to avoid creating extra waste. It's only if there's no need for it because we want to reduce the waste that we have. But yes, you can put plastic in, but not polystyrene, the plastic that comes with, if you buy a microwave or a television, those big white pieces of polystyrene, they unfortunately cannot be recycled, so do have to go in the black bin.
The reason for that, it is quite a tricky material that will get trapped into the machinery and kind of dismember into lots of little pieces. But yes, as Julia says, just as important as recycling, right, is reducing the amount of waste we are producing without realizing. So starting from supermarkets, bringing your reusable bags and just buying things by weight. Obviously, there's some refill shops. I know they are kind of difficult to access for some people. There's not many places at the moment. And just kind of just trying to be smart with what we actually need, I feel.
Also on markets as well. I find that markets are better places to buy your fruit and veg because then you don't have lettuces wrapped in cling film and things like that. So it is a lot easier. And your mushrooms in the case with cling film on the top, they'll just come in a little brown bag. And as Cristina said, take your own shopping bags. And I think a lot of people do that now. It is breaking the old habit of, I'll pay 10, I'll get some free bags. Then there was a cost incurred. So that discouraged a lot of people. So now people do carry little bags with them that they can fold up, put in their handbags, makes it more convenient if they buy anything when they're out without having to contribute to more plastic waste.
Well, I mean, we were even joking ourselves, about the takeaways, bringing our own Tupperware to put our chips, weren't we? Used to be proper waste warriors in there. To make sure that we reduce the packaging in everything, including takeaways as well.
Yeah. It's interesting, Julia, that you mentioned about markets because as a boy, I can remember that we weren't into that easily throw away stuff. It was all about recycling and upcycling, and you know, I mean, if the element went in your kettle, you went to the market and you got another element for it. Or if a part of your washing machine packed up, you had all sorts of things. You go to a stall and they would have it. So we weren't in that throwaway culture, and perhaps we will hopefully come back full circle, and we'll start thinking about how we used to think about. Well, let's just make do rather than buy something.
In a lot of cases it's preparation. I mean, my mum used to take shopping bags to shopping. She never took plastic bags. It wasn't a thing when I was a kid. So you just took what you needed to take to bring back the shopping that you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like with the daily life, we're rushing about, and I guess we want the convenient factor, don't we? So everything is becoming very convenient. The microwavable meals and all the things are ready and packed, but I guess it's going back to all basics, isn't it? Because we are really harming the planet, on planet Earth. And, I know children are listening. We have to be the protectors of that planet, and it starts with reducing the amount of waste we produce. In all sorts.
What the children can do. Oh, sorry, Dave.
No, go on. Go on.
What the children can do when we go into schools, we talk to them about having reusable drinks containers, lunch containers for little pots for different things that they take into lunch, and what they actually use. Make it a waste-free lunch, that you've not got anything that's going to be contaminating the earth as such, and you can reuse it again. So we do talk to them about that, and they're very open to that in the schools.
And what's more as well, one of the things we're developing with the charity called Recoup, we are planning to kind of create a waste or food waste toolkit that schools can use to reduce the amount of food waste that is being produced at the moment. And we are also encouraging schools to do their own food waste recycling, which we can talk a bit more in a moment.
Let's talk about batteries, because I know that's a really big thing in regard to recycling. We do get through a lot of batteries. I'm guilty of that. I have all these handsets they all need batteries, and then when they run out, you think, what do I do with them? And it's very, very easy to just sling them into a bin, and we shouldn't do that, should we?
No, we shouldn't. Today, I have some of our officers out and about because on Friday, one of our refuse lorries caught fire because of batteries inside that particular truck. So far this year, we've had 5 fires in trucks. And in total, I think in the last year and a half, 14 fires. And we're not talking about bins, but just the trucks. There are also bins that are igniting, because batteries contain lithium, which is a very, very toxic and, flammable, resource. And so that is the reason why we have started to collect with the recycling of black bin batteries. So we can share the leaflet with you later, Captain David.
That's great. I mean, that's all those things, really. If you're listening to this, think about what you do. Wherever you live in the world, think about what you do. You got the batteries, it runs out. You've got an electrical appliance or whatever, or automatic toothbrush or whatever, and it packs up. And if it's not one of those rechargeable ones, and it takes the ordinary batteries, well, you think, just sling it in the bin. But we really shouldn't, because we could be endangering the lives of the people who actually collect our rubbish. Because if that catches fire and they don't realise it, we could be putting lives in danger. So
and not just that, David, because we have a very powerful video. Maybe it's not suitable to primary school age, or perhaps, the key stage 2, where you can see people working at the material recycling facilities. So people who are emptying the recycling bins and sorting the recyclables. And the video is so powerful, isn't it, Julia?
Yes.
You see sparks, something suddenly self-ignites, and the person is just shocked. And so I'll share that video with you. Maybe the parents can see.
It's something for parents and carers who listen to this, and for uncles and aunties and nan and granddads who listen in other countries. Think about how what you do with your rubbish. It's very, very important, because it's a worldwide problem. Those bottles. I remember that when we had the lockdown, and they all went to one beach on a really warm, sunny day, and when everybody left, the beach looked like a bomb had hit it. It was just full of plastic. It was. I don't know if you remember that, but it was during lockdown, and I looked at it
during lockdown.
Or just before lockdown. I remember that everybody, the news agencies picked it up. There was Coke bottles and all sorts of stuff, and you looked at it and you thought, what chance has wildlife got if we're going to be that careless with the things that can kill them, because for even to the point where I actually corrected and I wasn't funny with them, but I said to them, can you take that please, because I watched a postman undo some elastic bands from around a thing and just drop it. And this elastic band laid there, and I thought, that could be mistaken for a bird, by it to be a worm, and they could have took it off and killed a magpie or something. But we're so used to just throwing things on the ground, aren't we?
Yeah, it's like we don't want to see the rubbish. We want to forget about it.
Yeah.
It's out of sight. That's fine. What's more, it's also affecting not just animals, but us, because I've been to a few conferences where they're trying to find microplastics inside our bodies, inside our bloodstream. So obviously, it's a big problem. Just to remind people how to recycle batteries effectively. So there is battery bins in most supermarkets. The way we collect them will be in a transparent plastic bag, sealable if possible, on top, not inside, on top of the green bin or the black bin. So they can be collected weekly. Yeah. And this is something that we have only done in Peterborough so far as I know. And it's catching up because all the councils are looking at it as a good initiative. We're basically trying to raise awareness of the problems with fires in bins and trucks.
So if I get a little plastic bag or whatever, put the batteries in it and sellotape it to the top of the bin, black or
just
green.
Don't tape it. Just put it on top. Hopefully it'll stay there.
Well,
it's not windy.
Make sure
you have enough batteries, Dave.
Yeah.
Save up a few batteries.
Save up a few. Have
quite.
Like 20
and then
or so.
And
obviously on day of collection, not before. Just
quite.
Only the day of collection.
Quite.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all very, very useful, and it's we must do more. We really must do more. And one of the things that we really must do is educate our children, because if they see us doing it, like all children, if they see us doing all sorts of things, they copy us, they mirror us, particularly if they're infants, like the children that we work with and that we encourage and educate at Dogsthorpe Infant School. So all the you parents out there who listen to this, who've got young children, just think about what you do. But also, it's up to us to educate our staff at school, and it's great that we've got people like yourselves to come in, and you are coming in this coming week to Dogsthorpe Infant School to our shine time. What can the children expect?
Well, many things. So we will have, I'm hoping that we will have one of the mascots or both. It depends on availability. Either Recycling Rita or Hungry Harry, and then we just do a short presentation, don't we, of what goes in each bin, etc. And we might be able to do some games as a short assembly. Was going to discuss with the head teacher to do some workshops in the new year as well, where we can go more into detail with games. So, Julia, what kind of games do we do?
Well, we do a nice recycling game where we've got an array of bins. There's a choice of black bin for general waste, green recycling bin, food waste bin, and the brown bin, which some people have to pay for their garden waste. And then the child will pick up something, a little bean bag that'll say plastic bottle, and then they have to post it in the correct bin. And it does get quite enthusiastic, but they are very competitive and want to throw as many bean bags as they can. And usually I get them to pick them up because my knees won't take it, rolling around on the floor, picking up bean bags. But they do enjoy that. And if they get stuck, we can help point them in the right direction, because we talk about all the different types of bins they have at home, not just the recycling and not just the bins, also what they can take to charity shops, what they can sell, what they can repurpose, and what they can take to the Householders Recycling Centre in Fengate well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So it's a whole,
So it covers also recycling, upcycling, all that sort of stuff. You're doing incredible work, and hopefully the children will go away with something. And of course, little Dave, if I'd have been there, I would have failed, wouldn't I? Because my beanbag wouldn't have the plastic cap, would it? And you just said, no, little Dave.
We can only improve.
Don't worry if you lose the plastic cap. Just put the bottle in the bin.
Better than nothing. Yeah.
Well, it's thank you for doing this, because you're helping our children to in so many ways to not only look after our planet now, but also, as you so rightly said, Cristina, it's about the future as well. And we're seeing too many things end. You know, too many animals are coming to a sad end, and if we don't look after them and preserve, we're going to lose it. And that does, at the end of the day, as David Attenborough has showed to us, it does come down to that baked bean tin after we've emptied the baked beans into the saucepan. Yes. It is about, do we just say, oh, I can't be bothered, and throw it away and it goes into landfill? Because all of those things, I know that there's a chance for them for your guys at the other end to sort things out, but we've got to get used to recycling.
Of course, reduce our waste and recycle. I just wanted to point something out, because we are lucky enough in Peterborough that our black waste doesn't go into landfill anymore. It generates electricity.
Right.
Yeah. So it's incinerated, and we can have another guest next time talking about it, and it'll produce electricity and heat as well.
Wow. So even the stuff that we don't use, that we can't recycle, goes to heat our homes. Well, there you go, folks. Did you realise that? You see, all these things we're learning. That's the whole point about Eddie's Launchpad. It's about learning new things, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Every day is a school day for us, whatever age you are. Yes. Ladies, thank you for all you do. Thank you for the work that you put into this, because we are so grateful to you and to the council for all the support that you give us, because it's very easy to ignore that, or we just hear the refuse truck and we think, oh yeah, it's refuse day, and we don't give it a moment's thought. But if we didn't get rid of our refuse, if there was a strike or something, you watch us all complain. You just watch us all complain, because we do generate a lot of rubbish, and that's why it's very important to recycle.
Yes, reduce, reuse and recycle.
Now, if this has interested people who've been listening to this podcast, they may not necessarily live in Peterborough, but I'm sure that you must have opposite numbers in other councils. If they want to get in touch with you to talk more, or to maybe get into another school, maybe it's a teacher in another school, where's the best place for them to come?
Yes, if they wish to email us, that will come to our inbox at recycling@peterborough.gov.uk.
Brilliant. And how do they get hold of all of the leaflets? Has the council got a website or something?
So we are in the process of working to develop our own recycling education tab.
Brilliant.
In the council website, but it's not ready yet. So I would be happy to provide leaflets. So I would access these inboxes.
Brilliant.
Email them. Whoever needs them, we can share them across.
Yeah, well, everybody works online, so, if the leaflets are useful, but once you get that up and running, let us know, and we'll make sure that we publicise that you've got your new part of the website, because I think that's another thing to encourage us and to give us a gentle nudge.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you for today. Folks, if you want to, if you didn't catch that email address or stuff like that, don't worry. As always, go into the text of the podcast. You're just one click away from this incredible department at Fletton Keys, who do incredible work and offer it to schools right across Peterborough, don't you?
Yes, just in Peterborough, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just in Peterborough. So if you're a school in Peterborough, get these guys in, because we really ought to encourage our children more to recycle, whether that's at the kitchen sink when we're washing things up, or whether that's standing at the green bins or the black bins as we put them out on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, or whenever it's your bin day. Whenever we do it, teach our children, because it's very, very important. We need to save our planet, and we start with a baked bean tin or a battery. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
You have been listening to the Dogsthorpe Infant School podcast. Join Captain Dave and his co-pilot Eddie Edster, the well-being dog, on another launchpad soon. Until then, always remember to be kind, be respectful, and most of all, dream, believe, and shine. Dogsthorpe Infant School is part of Hampton Academies Trust.